Have you ever felt like Unity was wasting your time? I mean, we've all been there. Endless compilation, messy folders, thousands of assets to dig through just to find one file. As game developers, our most valuable assets are not code or art, it's our time. Luckily for you, Unity has sponsored this video so that I can show you some of the assets I use every day to save hours. And best of all, they are all on sale right now, and if you miss them, don't mind, Unity has plenty of sales year-round. So if some of the assets catches your eye, head down to the description to get my affiliate link and get the assets. It will help both you and I, and it's much appreciated. Let's dive into it. Let's start with one of the biggest time savers in Unity development, hot reload. Have you ever hit play, spotted a tiny bug, and realized you had to stop, recompile, and restart everything just to test a single line of code? I know I have. Hot reload fixes that. It lets you edit C# while Unity is running and see the change applied immediately, so most small tweaks don't force a full recompile or a domain reload. You just save, and the update happens live in your game. Setup is simple, import the package, click Start, and you're ready to iterate at full speed. Now about ECS and dots, hot reload can accelerate data-oriented workflow, but it's not a silver bullet. Some edits, especially those inside systems using burst, iSystem, or source-generated code, may be detected, but not applied until you do a full recompile. There are some workarounds: temporarily disable burst while iterating, then re-enable for final runs, move hot pass logic into static helper methods and call them from your system. Edits to those helpers are more likely to be applied instantly. Keep structural change small during play. Big refactor, new fields, or signature change often require a compile anyway. Outside of those specific cases, hot reload shines for gameplay logic, constants, small fixes, and tuning passes. It supports common Unity workflows and integrates smoothly with Visual Studio and Rider, so you don't have to change your editor habits. The payoff is huge. No more waiting through compile bars, no more losing your PlayStation, and far fewer interruptions to your creative flow. Make tweaks, test it immediately, and keep moving. If you build with ECS, think of hot reload as a speed booster for most edit test loops, and then you can refactor in iSystem, job entity, and other more advanced use cases. And for more traditional mono behavior workflows, it's even closer to edit, save, see it live. If you've ever wished Unity would just let you fix the code on the spot, hot reload gets you most of the way there. And once you have used it, it's hard to imagine working without it. The next tool on the list is one that has completely transformed how I bring assets into my projects. Asset Inventory 3. If you've built a decent Unity library, you know how messy it can get. You just want one prefab, one texture, maybe a script, but importing a whole package brings in hundreds of files you'll never touch. Asset Inventory 3 solves that perfectly. It lets you search, preview, and import individual assets with all their dependencies, so you only bring into your project what you actually need. No more clutter, no more long compile times, just the essentials. On top of that, you can queue up multiple package imports and bring them all in at once. For example, I use it to import all my ECS-related packages, plus hot reload and the other tools I'll talk about later in this video, all in one go. It's a huge time saver during project setup. What makes it even better is how flexible it is. It doesn't just work with Unity Asset Store content. You can also add custom folders for assets you've downloaded from places like Humble Bundle, HIO, or your own collections. Everything gets indexed, tagged, and is searchable from one place. Speaking of tags, the tagging system is incredibly powerful. You can tag entire package or individual assets, so finding things later is effortless. And when you combine that with the AI-powered caption, it becomes super fast to locate the perfect asset for your scene. Honestly, it's almost completely replaced the Unity Package Manager for me. Now, the only time I open the Package Manager is to install Asset Inventory itself, and from there, I manage everything else directly through it. When I'm building a scene, it saves me tons of time. I can browse through all the assets I own, rediscover things I had forgotten about, and drag them straight into my project. Clean, dependency-aware, and ready to go. In short, Asset Inventory 3 gives you complete control over your entire assets library. Whether it's from the Unity Asset Store, Humble Bundle, or your own work, and turns it into a smart, streamlined workflow tool. If you like staying organized and hate wasting time importing junk you don't need, this asset is a total game changer. If there is one place where Unity projects tends to feel endless, it's the project window. After a few weeks of work, you're scrolling through long lists of folders and files, trying to remember which textures or prefabs folder actually holds what you need. It's not that the content is wrong, it's just that the view doesn't help you see what matters quickly. vFolder 2 gives the project window a layer of visual clarity and navigation tools that makes it far easier to spot the right folder and move around large projects with confidence. You can assign custom colors and icons to your folders so important areas stand out immediately. UI can be one color, audio another, and your tooling or ECS-related folders can carry distinct icons you recognize at a glance. The project is discrete but powerful. Your eye lands on the right place without thinking. Beyond colors and icons, vFolder 2 adds useful visual hints about folder contents. A lightweight content preview minimap lets you sense what's inside the folder before you click. And optional styling, like zebra striping, makes dense lists easier to scan. These touches don't change how your files are organized on disk, they simply make the project window easier to read. Navigation is where the tool really speeds you up. With bookmarks and quick back-forward behavior, you can bounce between commonly used locations without digging through the trees every time. When you're jumping between, say, shaders, authoring script, and UI prefabs, the reduction in friction adds up fast. If your project window has ever felt like a time sink, vFolder 2 won't ask you to rebuild your folder or change the way you work. It simply makes what you already have easier to see and faster to navigate. The result is a workspace that feels organized, intentional, and ready for production, whether you are prototyping systems, polishing content, or juggling multiple pipelines. Following that same logic, vHierarchy 2 improves the scene hierarchy. If you've worked on large scenes, you already know how easily it becomes cluttered with endless game objects, managers, UIs elements, and nested prefabs. At some point, finding what you need feels less like development and more like archaeology. vHierarchy 2 changes that experience by giving you complete control over how your hierarchy looks and reads. It lets you apply custom icons, background colors, separators, and highlights directly to game objects, turning a dense wall of text into an organized visual structure. With just a few color cues and icons, you can instantly spot your managers, identify your UI elements, and separate major scene sections like gameplay logic, word props, and lighting setups. These small touches add up to a major improvement in readability, especially in big or multi-scenes projects. You can look at the hierarchy and immediately understand the structure of your scene instead of spending time scrolling or expanding object trees. The tool integrates seamlessly into Unity's native interface. No extra panel or complicated setup. Just right-click, configure, and keep working. It's fast, lightweight, and doesn't add any clutter or overhead to your workflow. One feature I personally love is the scene selection dropdown. It lists all the scenes in your project so you can switch between them instantly without having to dig through your folders. When I'm working on a sample demo scene for my character controller package, that feature alone saves me a ton of clicks and keeps me focused on what I'm testing instead of where the scene file lives. Combined with the color and icon customization, it turns the hierarchy window into a real productivity hub. Whether you are managing a massive open world level or just prototyping systems, the ability to see your scene structure at a glance makes navigation effortless. vHierarchy 2 isn't about adding new tools to Unity, it's about making the ones you already use every day smarter and faster. It brings a level of visual clarity that transforms how you interact with your scene, letting you stay organized, efficient, and in control. Lastly, the Unity Inspector is where we spend most of our time, editing components, checking data, or adjusting behavior. But let's be honest, it still slows you down with repetitive clicks, scrolling, and small but constant friction. vInspector 2 fixes that. It's a workflow enhancer that resyncs the inspector UX with smart, minimal improvements that feels instantly natural. Nothing flashy or invasive, just tools that make editing faster, cleaner, and smoother. At its core, vInspector 2 adds a navigation bar that lets you go back and forward through your selection history and bookmark game objects or assets you use frequently. You can jump between prefabs, scriptable objects, and runtime instances with a single click. No more digging through the hierarchy or searching the project every time you need to revisit something. For repetitive setup work, there is a multi-component copy-paste system. You can copy several components at once, paste them as new components, or transfer their values directly to existing components with dedicated paste button. This is a massive time saver when you're configuring similar game objects or balancing prefabs. Another standout is Save in Play mode. Each component now has a small save button that lets you apply runtime changes immediately. No more losing your tweak the moment you stop play mode. It also introduces component windows, a brilliant idea that lets you alt-drag any component to pin it into a floating window. You can keep multiple components visible at once while editing, compare values side by side, or monitor behaviors in play mode. Once you start using it, you'll wonder how you ever managed without it. Then comes the shortcuts. vInspector 2 adds keyboard shortcuts for almost everything you do repeatedly. Ctrl-Shift-E to collapse or expand all components, Shift-E to collapse all but the one you're editing, A to toggle a component on or off, and X to delete it. It's faster, intuitive, and muscle memory friendly. Visually, vInspector 2 is about focus. You can enable minimal mode to sweep away extra buttons, remove unused controls, and even hide the script file name for cleaner view. You can still open the script anytime by clicking its icon. Animation for expanding, collapsing, and deleting component add polish without slowing anything down. And because it's fully customizable, as the two previous assets, you can toggle every feature on or off. No blot, no lag, no compile time cost. It's just a smoother inspector that adapts to how you work. If you also pick vHierarchy 2 and vInspector 2, you can even share bookmark icons, tying both tools into a consistent visual workflow. Advanced user will appreciate the attribute system, which adds practical runtime functionality. Button turns function into clickable buttons. Fold out and tabs group variable visually. Show in inspector displays private or static fields. And other attributes give you fine control over how and when variables appear or update. You can even edit and serialize dictionary, reset variables to defaults, and use static functions directly without creating game objects. All these features combine to remove friction from the one Unity window you use most. And when you add that up across hundreds of edits every day, it's a serious productivity boost. vInspector 2 doesn't reinvent the inspector, it perfects it. It gives you a faster, cleaner, and more powerful way to work, one small improvement at a time. So let's wrap things up. We've looked at 5 Unity assets with a shared goal of helping you save time and stay in the flow while you create. Hot Reload lets you edit code live without waiting for compilation. Asset Inventory 3 makes it easier to find, tag, and import explicitly what you need from your library. vFolder 2, vHierarchy 2, and vInspector 2 polishes the editor experience, give you shortcuts, give you some organizational visual cues so that it's more efficient for you to work in your project structure, in your project folder, in your scenes, and in the inspector. All 5 tools are available right now in the Unity Asset Store. You can find a link to each of them in the description below. Those links are affiliate links, so if you choose to pick one of the assets or several of the assets, you will help yourself and the channel at no extra cost to you, so thank you. And a huge thank you to Unity for sponsoring this video and supporting content creators like me who wants to make game development faster and a little more fun. If you've enjoyed the video, like, share, and subscribe to not miss my next tutorial or my next content. I've got some ECS related topics and more to cover in my future videos, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and now go get some assets and make some games.